Bats, welcome back to my channel. So for this video I will obviously be reviewing a book titled Scythe for you guys. I know if you've been with me you're like, whoa, it's a contemporary book. Why did you read it in the first place? Well, one of my best friends actually recommended it to me, so that's why I read it, and I trust her opinion because she knows me very well. So, gosh dang it, does anyone have any idea how to like fix this whole baby hair sticking out type thing? So have you ever wondered what it would be like if humans were actually immortal? I'm not talking about like they were physically changed, so I'm not talking about vampirism or anything like that. I'm talking we as a human species defeated every disease and we had a way to heal ourselves if we'd been shot, things like that. So we're basically immortal. That's basically what this book is about, or that's the world that this book is in. So it's set in the future. Human race is basically immortal, like, and you can do this thing called turning a corner, which means you can basically reverse your age so that you go back to, I think the youngest that they can do is 21 in the book. But yeah, and you just keep living. Also, there's no such thing as a government anymore. There's this thing called the Thunderhead, which it said it used to be the cloud, but then it turned into this huge artificial intelligence type thing, but it's a little better than that, in that it's not like some sort of iRobot thing. You automatically think, oh my gosh, AI, it turns against humanity, da da da, but it's actually quite helpful. So there's no such thing, oh my gosh, there's no such thing as famine anymore or world hunger. There's no war, nothing like that. The only issue now, as I'm sure you can imagine, with immortality and breeding and all of that is overpopulation. So that's why they come up with the Scythedom, which I think is great. Oh my gosh, imagine basically being death. It raises so many great questions just about what death does for us as humans. They called it in the book, in the current time setting, they call it the age of mortality. So that would be like present, you and me right now type of thing. And they have museums for the age of mortality, and they have a bunch of art, like paintings and sculptures and things like that. So what the Scythedom is, it's basically humans, a group of people who are in charge of taking lives, basically. And there are a set of rules. They have, how many commandments? Is it 10? Okay, yeah, so they're called the Scythe commandments. 1, thou shalt kill. 2, thou shalt kill with no bias, bigotry, or malice aforethought. 3, thou shalt grant an annum of immunity to the beloved of those who accept your coming, and to anyone else you deem worthy. 4, thou shalt kill the beloved of those who resist. 5, thou shalt serve humanity for the full span of thy days, and thy family shall have immunity as recompense for as long as you live. 6, thou shalt lead an exemplary life in word and deed, and keep a journal of each and every day. 7, thou shalt kill no scythe beyond thyself. 8, thou shalt claim no earthly possessions save thy robes, ring, and journal. 9, it's so weird because since I speak German, it's like when I say the number 9, my brain is like, wait, 9 as in no? Anyways, 9, thou shalt have neither spouse nor spawn. 10, thou shalt be beholden to no laws beyond these. Okay, anyways, so how the Scythedom works, there's like the high blade, and then there's like the bejeweler, it's this whole thing, and each scythe has a different kind of robe. You get to basically choose what color you want, but no black is allowed. I was like, dang it. Which makes sense, they have their reasons for it. They don't want it to be this big bad thing, I suppose. I'm like, well, Black is great though. There's so much more to Black than, but I guess it's just a stereotype that they don't want to perpetuate. So anyways, so each Scythe, or not each Scythe, but Scythes can take on apprentices, and they train that apprentice for I think a year, and then the apprentice goes through I believe 3 tests, and at the end, the very last test is when they are chosen. So in this book you follow a Scythe, his name is Scythe, or you follow several people, so it breaks it up. They all come together in the middle of the book, but to start out you begin looking at each person. So Citra and Rowan are really the 2 main characters that you follow. They're the apprentices of Scythe Faraday, and so he's great. Also, it's interesting to see how each Scythe's methods for taking lives varies. So, for example, Scythe Curie, I kind of like how she does it, because she does it very suddenly, because you know, she said in the age of mortality, death came suddenly. You didn't know, for the most part, you didn't know when you were gonna die. So I like how she chooses people too, because of course you can't be biased or anything like that. So she chooses people based on whether or not they've become stagnant, which I love, because it's like, are they still living? You know, that I think that would be an issue with immortality, is like, yeah, you're living for centuries and centuries, but you're existing, but are you really living? So she goes after the people who aren't necessarily living. Like, you can tell when a person has grown stagnant when they're kind of going with the flow. They aren't growing, they have no desire to grow, they aren't pursuing anything. Does this make sense? So I like how Scythe Curie does it. So the problem, of course, is with Scythe Goddard and his disciples, so to speak. That's how they're occasionally referred to. So he and his disciples, his fellow Scythes who just stick with him, they enjoy killing. Like, they think they should be worshipped, and they think they're the pinnacle of humanity, basically, and they think that they deserve everything, really. They're very entitled, and they enjoy killing to the point where it's kind of a sport, and it becomes very animalistic and Dionysian. And when he's speaking, you can kind of understand where he's coming from, but some of the things he says also were like, no, not really. And also, he's just a generally very arrogant individual, and he's not that great. It's also interesting to see how people act around death, because some people are either so afraid that they'll ignore you and pretend you're not there or run away from you, and then other people will treat you, they'll grovel, they'll do anything they can to please you in whatever way they think you want, in order for you not to kill them. And I'm like, that's interesting. I really did like this book. In terms of the writing, it's not a heavy read, it's not too fluffy, if you know what I mean. And there's so many great themes that you could go with in this. It's just great in terms of ideas and whatnot. But yeah, the writing is an easy read. You can get through this in a day even. I just read it whenever it was slow at work, so even if you're not like me and you're not into contemporary pieces, I would recommend that you give this a try. So yes, that is all I have for you in this video. If you have any book recommendations or anything like that, or if you think you would like to give this book a try, let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.